Namaskar, good evening. This is Breaking Ground and I am Swati Joshi. Let's quickly take a look at the top 5 stories, which is going to be our top focus on this broadcast. Number 1, the big story coming in from Tamil Nadu, where the government has announced that women government employees will now be entitled to 365 days of maternity leave for their third child, up from the existing 12 weeks. We'll tell you all about the decision and the kind of politics happening around it. Rahul Gandhi, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, has drawn a fresh political battle line over the OBC community, asking what would happen if the OBCs took the Gen Z path and took to the streets over issues such as the caste census and quota. That remark has sparked a massive political controversy. Meanwhile, from Rajasthan, the former chief minister of the state, Congress leader Ashok Gehlot, has pushed for a generational shift in Rajasthan politics. Making a major pitch for Gen Z, Gehlot has called for more than 50% of Congress tickets in the upcoming local body polls to go to youngsters. Will that happen? BJP says first apply it to the Congress party. We'll also tell you all about the Aam Aadmi Party, how it is hitting out at the centre. AAP cries foul over the arrest of former Delhi Minister Satyendra Jain amid the ACB probe into Delhi Jal Board irregularities. Claims that the action against Jain is politically motivated just ahead of Punjab polls. Another big story also coming in from Tamil Nadu, where the Chief Minister has announced a big bonanza for the MLAs of the state. All 234 will get a car and a monthly allowance of 75,000 rupees for fuel and maintenance expenses. Additional 25,000 to hire a secretary for official work. There's a lot of politics happening on that as well. We'll get you all the details. Let's first talk about the big story. So Tamil Nadu's Vijay government has announced a major change in maternity benefits for women government employees. Now, the state will provide 365 days, 1 year of maternity leave for the birth of the third child. This decision brings maternity leave for the third child on par with the benefit already available for the first 2 children, with the government calling it a step towards women's welfare and empowerment. Now, the decision has found support from Shiv Sena spokesperson, who says questions will certainly be raised over the government's objective and motive, but argues that women need adequate maternity support. For her, the decision is ultimately about giving women greater provisions at a crucial stage of their lives.
तमिलनाडु सरकार का जो निर्णय है, इसका लक्ष्य क्या है, इसका मोटिव क्या है, इसके ऊपर सवाल जरूर उठेगा। लेकिन जो वो नैतिक जिम्मेदारी ले रहे हैं कि महिलाओं को ज्यादा प्रावधान मिले क्योंकि मैटरनिटी लीव की आवश्यकता है, तो एक महिला सेंट्रिक निर्णय का स्वागत करते हैं।
So a decision taken by the Tamil Nadu government for the women government employees in the state has led to massive reactions coming in from across political parties. And there's another side to this debate. Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis's wife Amruta Fadnavis says adequate maternity leave is a fundamental right, whether a woman has 2 or 3 children. But she also raises the larger population question. If the benefit is extended to a third child, are we effectively encouraging people to have a third child? So this particular decision of the Tamil Nadu government has also sparked a debate on, is the government's decision right? Will it only encourage people to have more children? Can people really afford to take care of more children? The most striking criticism has come from within Tamil Nadu's own political establishment. DMK spokesperson points to Tamil Nadu's long-standing family planning approach and the 2-child norm. The argument of this DMK leader is that if the state is now extending the full maternity benefit to a woman for the third child, what does that say about the future of family planning?
में दो पहलू है। एक तो स्त्री का मूलभूत अधिकार है कि जब वो बच्चा पैदा करती है तो उसको उतना समय मिले बच्चों का संगोपन करने के लिए। उसका एक पहलू ये है। तो ह्यूमैनिटेरियन ग्राउंड्स में ये सही बात है कि स्त्री को चाहे 2 बच्चे हो या 3, उतना समय दिया जाना चाहिए। और बट दूसरा है कि हमारी आबादी ऑलरेडी इतनी बढ़ चुकी है, तो आप तीसरे बच्चे के लिए एक प्रोत्साहन ही दे रहे हैं कि तीसरा बच्चा भी पैदा कीजिए। ये हमारे जैसे देश में होना चाहिए क्या? ये एक सोचने की बात है।
Tamil Nadu is the first state to follow family planning in the strictest sense. But now that is why we stopped with 2 child. It is better to have only 2 child for any family, which will save the family, which will make the parents to bring up their children. But if they are giving third child means they are violating or they are dropping the family planning program at all. I don't understand what the meaning of this. This government does not want family planning. That is the only thing I can find out from this.
Well, the Congress party, however, has a more cautious approach. Congress MP Manikam Tagore calls the extension of maternity leave a welcome step, but says Tamil Nadu's success has also been built around the two-child norm. His demand is for wider consultation before any broad shift in policy.
We welcome that decision of the Tamil Nadu government. Whether Tamil Nadu government has thought over that process that from the two-child norm, we have gone to the third child norm is a very important step. It is very important that we proceed in the same direction where we had taken a leave, taken the turn in 1970s. Therefore, it's an important decision. I hope that the cabinet takes a clear view of it, and I hope that the chief minister also will be able to take the views of the cabinet colleagues in that major decision.
Let's go across to Dharani, my colleague, who's getting us more details. Dharani, now there are multiple layers and angles to this entire story. Some are also looking at the entire, issue that the state of Tamil Nadu spoke about, raised around the topic of delimitation, and said that, if it were to be decided on the basis of population, then the southern states would lose out on more seats and representation because they have worked on population control. DMK is also talking about the same. DMK says that you're encouraging people to have more children, but what about resources? This is being seen as a massive population push, not just to provide maternity benefits to women, but is this also aimed at population push by Vijay?
Well, on record, what Minister Sarath Kumar told in the assembly is that, his government wants to work for the empowerment of women and welfare of women, and that is why they are introducing this particular, maternity leave for the third baby of female government employees is what he had told. But as far as the larger picture is concerned, definitely population is also a concern for Tamil Nadu because Tamil Nadu's fertility rate has, declined over years because, a few decades back, Tamil Nadu used to have a fertility rate that was close to 3, but right now the fertility rate is 1.2, around 1.2. And if we talk about delimitation, we've often seen Tamil Nadu politicians say that despite implementing population control measures effectively, Tamil Nadu is getting punished in terms of delimitation. If delimitation is going to be done based on population, then the state will lose its parliamentary representation as a punishment. For implementing population control measures effectively is what the politicians here they've told time and again. So in the larger picture, it definitely looks like the government is in fact encouraging the female government employees in terms of their third child birth because until now the female employees, they were only getting 12 weeks of maternity leave for their third child, but now it is going to be increased to an entire year. So this will definitely be an welcome move in terms of the female government employees are concerned, but
right.
Politically talking, it looks like the state government is also concerned about the falling fertility rate.
Absolutely, and that's what I said. There are multiple layers and angles to this entire story. Thank you very much, Dharani, for getting us the details. Let's move on now. The Gen Z-led student protests are still fresh in our minds, but the leader of opposition, Rahul Gandhi, has now cited this example to give a call to the OBC community. Speaking at an OBC department program, Rahul Gandhi launched a fresh attack on the Modi government over the caste census. Rahul Gandhi questioned what would happen if the OBC community also took to the streets in a Gen Z-style movement. He claimed that the government never wanted to implement the caste census in the first place and ultimately went ahead with it solely due to the pressure of the Congress party and the rest of the opposition. Rahul Gandhi went on to say that the government has failed to ensure proper representation of OBCs with the caste census process. Rahul warned that given the size of the OBC population, a mass movement could put the government under significant public pressure. Other opposition leaders soon rallied behind the Congress MP.
जो कॉलम बनाया गया है इस जनगणना में, उसमें ओबीसी को छोड़ दिया गया क्या कारण है छोड़ने का। ओबीसी हिंदू भी है, मुसलमान भी है, और उसका एक गणना में उसका एक भूमिका है। तो ये जानबूझ के सरकार के द्वारा किया गया है, उसका कारण तो वही जानते होंगे, लेकिन हकीकत ये है कि एक तरह से ओबीसी को नज़रअंदाज करने की कोशिश है जनगणना में। तो इसको लेकर तो विरोध होगा ही, सब लोग विरोध करेंगे, ओबीसी के लोग भी विरोध करेंगे।
Many of our presidents say that Narendra Modi ji has succumbed to the demand of Jain ji. What if we come on the streets, because this is a very sentimental issue for OBCs. Then he just acted, if you people will come on the street, it will be a very big moment. This is what he said.
इस देश के पीडीए समाज को बिना लड़े ना उनका हक मिलेगा ना अधिकार मिलेगा। निश्चित तौर पे कांग्रेस अगर ये बात कह रही कि पिछड़ों को भी लड़ना चाहिए, तो लड़ाई सबको लड़नी पड़ेगी, चाहे वो दलित हो, पिछड़ा हो, अल्पसंख्यक हो। ये सरकार डकैत के रूप में काम कर रही है।
However, the BJP was quick to hit back at the Congress. The BJP's OBC unit chief claimed that the party never thought about OBCs over the last 60 plus years for the maximum time that the Congress party was in power. Further, he accused the Congress of exploiting the OBC community for all these years. Others in the BJP also accused Rahul Gandhi of citing the Gen Z protests to create an atmosphere of instability.
मैं इन कांग्रेसियों से सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं कि जब वो 64 साल तक एक परिवार की सत्ता जब उनके घर में थी, तब ओबीसी याद नहीं आया, न इनके पूरे खानदान को आया। नेहरू गांधी से लेकर के वर्तमान में राहुल गांधी, नकली राहुल गांधी तक, तब ओबीसी का तो ख्याल आया नहीं। भारतीय जनता पार्टी ओबीसी पूरे देश के अंदर जो सबसे पिछड़ा हुआ व्यक्ति है, उन सबके जीवन में कैसे उत्थान हो, ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार के अंतर्गत जो है प्रारंभ हुआ। शर्म आनी चाहिए इन कांग्रेसियों को ओबीसी पे बात करने के लिए। जब इनको करना था तब जो है वो शोषण करते रहे और अपनी सत्ता को जमाए रखे। देश में सबसे ज्यादा अगर पिछड़ों का किसी ने शोषण किया है, पिछड़ों के साथ अन्याय किया है, तो वो कांग्रेस की सरकार ने किया है।
ऐसे ना कंफ्यूजन के कबाड़ खाने में जब तक कांग्रेस के ये नेता कैद रहेंगे, तब तक इसी तरह से जो है वो कभी छात्रों की गूंज करते रहेंगे, कभी कुछ और करते रहेंगे। तो छात्रों की गूंज के नाम पर जो छल छत्रपों का गुनाह है, वो एक के बाद एक एक्सपोज होता जा रहा है।
देखिए, कांग्रेस पार्टी, राहुल गांधी जी लगातार देश के तमाम लोगों को भड़काकर देश में अस्थिरता के माहौल रचने की साजिश रच रहे हैं। जिस तरीके से आज प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में पिछड़े समाज के लिए, मातृ शक्ति के लिए, नारी शक्ति के लिए, हमारे दलित भाइयों के लिए, अल्पसंख्यक पासमानदा समाज के उत्थान के लिए जो काम हुआ है, ये पिछली किसी भी सरकारों में नहीं हुआ। खासतौर पे कांग्रेस पार्टी को ये बताना चाहिए कि जब उनका शासनकाल था देश में, तब उन्होंने हमारे पिछड़े समाज के लोगों के लिए क्या किया।
Well, others in the NDA accused Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party of prioritizing appeasement over empowerment of the backward communities. Listen to the reactions.
राहुल गांधी क्यों तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करते हैं? ओबीसी समाज को भड़काते हैं, फिर कहते हैं कि देखिए हमें सरकार की तरफ से देखना चाहिए कि उनको कैसे सुरक्षित करें। आप लोगों को सही सुरक्षित करना चाहते हैं तो उनको आत्मनिर्भर कीजिए। आप एक विजन प्लान तो निकाल के आइए। आप सिर्फ कास्ट कम्युनिटी पे कब तक करते रहेंगे आप जात पात धर्म की राजनीति?
Let's go across to Niyamika, who's getting us more details on this. So, war of words only intensifying, Niyamika. With the BJP hitting out at the leader of opposition, saying that is the leader of opposition actually concerned about the empowerment of OBC community, or is it just appeasement politics being practiced?
Well, yes, indeed. We have seen that how the Congress party has been continuously targeting the Modi government for conducting the caste census. And now, once again, this entire debate has begun because the Congress party is making this allegation that the way in which Census 2027 is getting conducted, there is a nefarious intention of the BJP government behind it, because there is no such column of OBC which is being there in the questionnaire, and that is the only reason why there are people from the OBC community in particular who are very much upset over this entire matter. Yesterday there was a meeting of the OBC department which had also taken place here in the national capital, where a person from the Congress party had raised this question that the way in which Gen Zs have done a protest here in Delhi, if in a similar manner the OBCs will also hit the streets and started raising questions upon the government of India, will they actually going to accept this demand? To which Rahul Gandhi has replied that it is going to be a mass movement if all the OBCs are actually going to hold such kind of protest. But on the other side, we have seen that how the BJP has taken this as an opportunity, and they have made this allegation against Rahul Gandhi that he is trying to provoke the people, like the protest of the students which had taken place here. He wants the other people to also come to the streets and to hold such kind of protest on the road. So all of these war of words are currently taking place between the Congress and the BJP regarding this
citing the Gen Z protest, and there's a leader in the Congress party who says, why not more representation to Gen Z? Will Rahul accept that challenge? Thank you very much, Niyamika, for getting us the details. Let's shift our focus to the challenge that we were just talking about. This particular challenge has been thrown open by none other than the former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Mr. Ashok Gehlot. So Mr. Ashok Gehlot wants more than 50% of Congress tickets in the upcoming local body polls to go to the Gen Z and the young candidates. Gehlot says the political system is witnessing a generational shift and parties must make room for that change. So now Mr. Ashok Gehlot has made this suggestion. The question is, if Gen Z deserves more than half the tickets, does that benchmark apply to the Congress party, to the Congress leadership? And will Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and other senior political faces make way for the next generation? BJP has turned Gehlot's argument back on the Congress. The party is challenging Congress to walk the talk first. BJP leader Gaurav Vallabh says that if Gehlot's Gen Z formula is applied literally, several of the Congress's most recognizable leaders would fall outside it. Naming senior Congress leaders including Rahul Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, as well as Sachin Pilot, he points out that none of them are Gen Z.
बहुत अच्छी बात है गहलोत साहब की। तो गहलोत साहब ने देश और राजस्थान के सामने कह दिया है कि वो चुनाव नहीं लड़ रहे हैं क्योंकि वो जेन जी नहीं है। उनके पुत्र भी चुनाव नहीं लड़ रहे हैं क्योंकि वो भी जेन जी नहीं है। सचिन पायलट भी चुनाव नहीं लड़ रहे हैं अशोक गहलोत जी के अनुसार क्योंकि वो भी जेन जी नहीं है। डोटासरा जी और जूली जी भी चुनाव नहीं लड़ रहे क्योंकि वो भी जेन जी नहीं है। राहुल गांधी, प्रियंका गांधी और सोनिया गांधी जी भी चुनाव नहीं लड़ेंगे क्योंकि वह भी जेन जी नहीं है।
Former cabinet minister and BJP leader Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi has gone on the offensive, saying that the Congress's problem is much bigger than a debate over Gen Z tickets. He takes a direct jibe at the party's leadership and the politics of dynasty. He says Congress is now dealing with an expiry date that is itself expiring. Listen in.
ग्रैंड ओल्ड पार्टी की एक्सपायरी डेट भी एक्सपायर होती जा रही है। अब अगर ग्रैंड ओल्ड पार्टी की एक्सपायरी डेट भी एक्सपायर होती जा रही है तो उसके बाद आप नए नए प्रयोग करते रहेंगे तो डायनेस्टी के डिफॉल्टेड रिपोर्ट शंखों का जो डिज्नीलैंड है वो इस तरह के प्रयोग करता रहेगा और पिटता रहेगा, डिमोलिश होता रहेगा।
So this particular face-off is not just limited to Congress and BJP. Now we have a reaction coming in from Samajwadi Party as well. Samajwadi Party says the question of whether Rahul Gandhi or Mallikarjun Kharge accept the proposal is ultimately an internal matter of the Congress party. But he says political parties should focus instead on what the country's youth actually wants.
ये कांग्रेस का इंटरनल मामला है। क्या राहुल गांधी जी मानेंगे, क्या खड़गे जी मानेंगे, क्या उनके राजस्थान के नेता क्या सुझाव है, ये कांग्रेस अपना इंटरनल सर्वे करके और हवा किस तरफ बह रही है, देश क्या चाहता है, देश का युवा क्या चाहता है, इस पे मेरे ख्याल से सारे राजनीतिक दलों को आने वाले समय में काम करना ही पड़ेगा।
And then there are those Congress leaders who are rallying behind Ashok Gehlot's 50% tickets to be given to Gen Z proposal. Listen in.
क्योंकि जनरेशन चेंज हो रहा है और हमेशा जनरेशन चेंज जब होता है तो उसमें जो जेनजी होते हैं उनको एक प्राथमिकता मिलती है, उनको अवसर दिया जाना चाहिए। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि अशोक गहलोत जी ने ठीक ही कहा है कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नौजवानों को आगे बढ़ाना चाहिए, लेकिन साथ में ये भी हम लोग को देखना होगा, क्योंकि हम पॉलिटिकल पार्टी हैं, तो जो भी उम्मीदवार हमारा खड़ा हो उसके जीतने की संभावना होनी चाहिए, कम से कम 50% संभावना होनी चाहिए। अगर हम सिर्फ जनजी के नाम पर लोगों को खड़ा कर देंगे, उम्मीदवार बना देंगे, तो वो भी उचित नहीं होगा।
Let's go across to Niyamika, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. Niyamika, that's a very interesting suggestion that has come in from Mr. Ashok Gehlot, who says, why not give more representation to Gen Z, 50% tickets in the upcoming local body polls from the Congress party's side. How the High Command takes this suggestion is interesting to monitor. BJP, meanwhile, has already said the Congress should walk the talk first.
Well, yes, indeed. There are many leaders from the Congress party who are of the view that whatever Ashok Gehlot has said, it must be discussed within the party forum, as this is a very important suggestion which he has given, as he is a senior leader of the Congress party. And if he has given this kind of a suggestion that the more, young faces should be brought in to the fore, then it must be considered by the party high command. But there is a counter which is also coming in from within the Congress party itself, as the Congress party's Lok Sabha MP, Mr. Tariq Anwar, has given this statement that not just the age but also the winnability must be a factor when the ticket distribution will be done, because he has made it very clear that the only considering the fact that a person is a Gen Z or he is very young is not enough, and there should be at least 50% chances of him winning the elections, and then only such kind of ticket distribution should be done. But he has also made it clear that it's good that he has given this kind of a suggestion that young people should be given a chance to be there in the elections. But the major question which arises here is
the
upon
question
Mr.
is, are
Ashok.
political parties willing to do that, give more representation to Gen Z and make way for young faces, young leaders? Thank you very much, Niyamika, for getting us the details. A very quick break. In a major development, day after AAP leader Satyendra Jain was arrested by the anti-corruption branch in the Delhi Jal Board tender case. The former Delhi minister was produced before a Delhi court today. Jain and 5 others, including former Delhi Jal Board CEO Udit Prakash Rai, were arrested over alleged irregularities and manipulation in tenders for sewage treatment plants. The anti-corruption branch, while making its case, is seeking judicial custody of the accused. Now, this case dates back to 2024, and it involves allegations like manipulated tender conditions, restrictive specifications, and criminal conspiracy to allegedly favor a particular technology provider. The ACB also claims to have uncovered electronic communication between public servants and private individuals and intermediaries, along with an alleged money trail involving commissions and bribes. Investigators say that 1.52 crore rupees allegedly reached Rai and his relatives through banking channels. Let's in fact take you through the Explosive Enforcement Directorate findings submitted to the anti-corruption branch. This is what has been found by the Enforcement Directorate. Number one, 6.73 crore rupees alleged bribe was paid in the tenders, the Delhi Jal Board tenders. Finding number two, rules were allegedly tweaked for IFAS technology to benefit a particular technology provider. Finding number three, bogus invoices allegedly used to mask payments. Finding number four says that 9.96 crore rupees unjust gains from the alleged manipulation. So that is the gain that was made because of the manipulation that was done. Finding number five, 17.70 crore rupees alleged was the total proceeds of crime. This is what the Enforcement Directorate found. This is as per sources within the ED. Let me go across to my colleague Priyank, who's getting us more details. Satyendra Jain has been arrested. There's a lot of political reaction with the AAP crying foul, questioning the timing, saying BJP is on back foot. It's happening ahead of Punjab elections. But then there are findings of the Enforcement Directorate which suggest, as per the ED, that commissions and bribes were involved, that a lot of regulations and rules were tweaked, in ED's words, to benefit a particular technology provider.
Yes, certainly, Swati, amidst the political war which was already continuing in between the Aam Aadmi Party and the Bharatiya Janata Party over multiple issues, now the fresh arrest of Satyendra Jain, the former Delhi minister, has triggered this controversy further. What the ACB has stated that they have found that there has been, channelized bribe amount of 7-point-something crore rupee, which exchange hand, and ACB has found the traces of 1.2 CR, which was first of all given from AN Enterprises, and then it was given to the relatives of the former DGB's CEO. He has also been arrested. Mr. Rai has also been arrested in this particular case. What is very important that the ACB has only demanded police remand of one private individual, but other 5 individuals are demanded by the ACB to be sent to the judicial custody, which also include Satyendra Jain. In his defense, the counsels of Jain has stated that Jain was not not having the authority to sign the paper at that particular time because he was already in jail in connection with the excise policy scam, so he did not sign the paper. The court has reserved the order, and we are expecting that anytime soon the court will be passing the order. Most likely Jain will be sent to judicial custody, and other accused would also be sent. One more accused is expected to be given police remand by the court.
All right, Priyank, do stay on with us. Now, let's tell our viewers what is the Punjab angle, or why is Aam Aadmi Party bringing in the Punjab election issue. Satyendra Jain is not just a former Delhi minister, he is also Aam Aadmi Party's Punjab co-in charge. And the timing of his arrest in the run-up to Punjab election has left the party seething. Punjab CM Bhagwant Mann calls the arrest political, alleging that the BJP is rattled by its inability to make political inroads in the state of Punjab and is therefore trying to disrupt Aam Aadmi Party's electoral preparations ahead of the polls. Aam Aadmi Party MP Sanjay Singh has made a similar charge against the BJP.
आपके वरिष्ठ नेता और पंजाब के सहप्रभारी सत्येंद्र जैन जी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया है और भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार की यही नीति है। आपको याद होगा दिल्ली चुनाव के पहले आम आदमी पार्टी के नेता अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया था, मनीष सिसोदिया जी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया था, सत्येंद्र जैन जी को गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया था, मुझे गिरफ्तार कर लिया गया था। मोदी जी और अमित शाह को समझ में नहीं आ रहा कि पंजाब में क्या करें। उन्होंने हाथ पैर मार के देख लिया किस तरह से आप आम आदमी पार्टी को टारगेट करके एक एक नेता को गिरफ्तार करते हैं, जेल में डालते हैं। ये पूरा देश देख रहा है।
See what has happened that Mr. Modi himself and the BJP, they're not understanding how to control Aam Aadmi Party as a political party, as a party which is delivering across, whether it be education, healthcare, the way fantastic work which they have done in Punjab. They are again trying to put their toolkit into operation, into execution. A toolkit which was deployed prior to Delhi election in Delhi. I request the democracy to be respected by Mr. Modi and allow Aam Aadmi Party in Punjab to fulfill the promises, the ambitions of people of Punjab.
So the BJP meanwhile has rejected AAP's political vendetta charge, insisting that the arrest is about accountability for graft. Delhi CM Rekha Gupta has pointed to the 19 CAG reports tabled in the Delhi Assembly, maintaining that the scams of the Kejriwal government were being probed by agencies which are acting on their findings. Delhi BJP chief Harsh Malhotra has pointed specifically to the alleged money trail in the Delhi Jal Board case, claiming it establishes corruption between Jain and Jal Board officials.
आम आदमी पार्टी की तत्कालीन सरकार ने ये अपने पूरे कार्यकाल में दिखा दिया कि उनकी पूरी की पूरी नियत केवल अपने प्रचार प्रसार और भ्रष्टाचार की थी। आज जब इन्वेस्टिगेटिंग एजेंसीज ने सत्येंद्र जैन जी और उनके साथ 4 और अभियुक्तों को अरेस्ट करा है, तो दिल्ली की जनता को न्याय मिलेगा और कहीं ना कहीं वो अपने इस पाप को इस प्रकार की बयानबाजी में उसका आवरण देकर छिपाने की कोशिश करेंगे।
सत्येंद्र जैन उस समय के जल बोर्ड के अधिकारी और ठेकेदारों के बीच में मनी ट्रेल पाया गया है, जिससे साफ स्पष्ट होता है कि जल बोर्ड में सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट को लेकर के बड़ा घोटाला सत्येंद्र जैन और उस समय के अधिकारियों ने किया है, जिसके कारण से उस समय यमुना जी में गिरने वाले नालों के मुहानों पर जो सीवेज ट्रीटमेंट प्लांट लगने थे वो नहीं लगे और उसके लिए आवंटित करोड़ों रुपए ये सत्येंद्र जैन अधिकारी और ठेकेदार मिलके डकार गए, जिसके कारण से केजरीवाल को बार बार दिल्ली की जनता से माफी मांगनी पड़ती थी।
Moving on, we have some breaking inputs coming in. A viral video from Jammu and Kashmir has sparked a reaction from the Chief Minister. From the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah. A woman tourist is seen allegedly abusing locals, with she being heard saying, "We are Gen Z." Now, reacting to this video, Omar Abdullah said, "We are Gen Z has become the new Jante nahi mera baap kaun hai." He has warned that using the Gen Z identity as a threat at the slightest perceived affront could erode the goodwill towards the generation. That's the reaction that has come in from Omar Abdullah on the video that has gone viral from social media. Let's go across to Sahil. Suhail, my colleague, who's getting us more details. Well, a reaction there coming in from the Chief Minister, and he says literally that this "We are Gen Z" term is actually being misused.
Yes, exactly. And in fact, if we look at this video, it is apparently from Meena Marg Dras, a location where police has its, in fact, police post. And such situations are very frequent on Srinagar-Kargil highway because adverse weather conditions often lead to blockade of this particular highway, particularly around Zojila Pass. So this video is from, in fact, Meena Marg Dras. We don't know the exact date of this video, where in fact a girl can be seen shouting at police personnel and army personnel deployed there, and in fact calling herself as Gen Z. And to this, in fact, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah has reacted and suggested that now, in fact, Gen Z term is being, in fact, misused to defame an entire generation. In such situations, earlier, there people would be, in fact, suggesting and telling cops that "Aap nahi jante mera baap kaun hai." So now, in fact, they are using this "We are Gen Z" this term to, in fact, intimidate police personnel, any workforce on ground, to in fact intimidate them or in fact threaten them. We know in fact this particular area, this particular location, when it comes to Sonmarg Dras area, it's frequently this particular highway is frequently gets blocked because of the adverse weather conditions, because of heavy rains, cloud bursts, or in fact heavy snowfall. So often situation demands police corps of in fact army deployed in this particular area to stop vehicle until the highway is in fact cleared.
Let's
so
listen into what transpired in the video, what the woman was saying that has now got this reaction from the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. Do stay on with us. Let's listen in.
बिल्कुल सीनियर को बुलाओ ना आपका मंत्री यहाँ से कैसे निकलेगा we are Gen Zs we are not tolerate this nonsense we are not tolerate this nonsense आप तो मुझे बताओ तो बैठोगे या नहीं बैठोगे चलो चलो कैसे रोकेंगे 5 घंटे हो गए निकालो सब लोग गाड़ी और चलो वो कश्मीर एयरपोर्ट पे नहीं उतरे हम लोग पैसे देके यहाँ घूमने आते हैं या फिर ये सब सेलिब्रेट करने आते हैं ताला लगा दिया इन्होंने कश्मीरियों के साथ तो करते हैं अब बाहर के टूरिस्टों के साथ भी कर रहे हैं देखो इन्होंने किसी ताला लगा दिया पे अपना नाम भी नहीं बताया और वहां चले गए ये देखो यहाँ पे कोई भी जवाबदारी के लिए कोई नहीं बैठा है यहाँ पर
Let's go back to Sahil, who continues to be with us on the broadcast. So what made the woman so angry? We can hear her saying कश्मीरियों के साथ तो करते ही थे, अब टूरिस्ट के साथ भी ऐसा कर रहे हैं. What led to this sudden outburst?
Well, as is evident from the video, cops deployed on this particular police post in Meena Marg Dras had basically stopped vehicles from playing on this particular highway stretch. The video signals that there was, in fact, adverse weather prevailing in the area that could have led to blockade of the highway from, in fact, Sonmarg to Meena Marg, and in between is the mighty Zojila Pass that often experiences cloudbursts or heavy, in fact, fact, rains and other adverse weather conditions. So cops can be seen, in fact, moving away from the particular this post, where in fact behind the woman we are able to see long queue of vehicles in fact stopped there. There are a lot of local drivers as well who are waiting for police for a green signal basically to play on the roads, because we have extensively traveled on this particular highway, and we are aware of the situations, and in adverse conditions more specifically this highway gets blocked, but Government of India has in fact
precautionary measures.
initiated
So you're saying that a precautionary measure irked this woman so much that she was yelling, "We are Gen Z." Omar Abdullah says that's the quickest way to erode all the goodwill that the Gen Z has been able to build. Thank you very much, Sahil, for getting us the details. Let's move on now. Let's shift our focus to the other big development that is being reported from the state of Tamil Nadu, where all the MLAs are now set to get a new set of perks that is aimed at easing their constituency work. Vijay government, while unveiling a slew of benefits, announced that all 234 MLAs will be provided government vehicles for constituency-related travel, with the state government taking care of the running expenses. So each Tamil Nadu MLA will get 75,000 rupees a month towards fuel, driver and vehicle upkeep. In addition to that, 25,000 rupees a month will be provided for a personal assistant or a secretary for official work. The government says this move is aimed at making field visits and constituency level work easier and more efficient. AMMK has welcomed this decision, with MLA S. Kamaraj saying there is no bigger flex than a government car.
நிறைய பேர் 4 கார் 5 கார் 3 கார்லாம் இருக்கு. என்னகிட்டயும் கார் இருக்கு. ஆனா நம்முடைய அரசு கார் முதலமைச்சர் கொடுத்த கார்ல செல்றங்கற பெருமையோட நாளையில இருந்து நான் இந்த தொகுதிக்கு செல்லுவேன். என்னகிட்டயும் 3-4 கார் இருக்கு. ஆனா நம்முடைய தமிழ்நாடு முதலமைச்சர் கொடுத்திருக்கிற காரில் தொகுதியை சுற்றி வரும்போது அதற்கு இருக்கிற ஒரு கெத்து, அந்த எம்எல்ஏங்கிற கெத்து.
However, while the AMMK has given a green signal to the Vijay government's decision, it's a big thumbs up coming in from their side. The DMK has slammed the move, challenging the TVK to check the election affidavits of the legislators and establish how many MLAs do not already own a car. The DMK has also pointed to Vijay's remarks at his vote-taking ceremony about the state coffers being empty, questioning how the government can now justify what it calls a splurge on a luxury for legislators. Is this a welfare or is this a splurge? That's the big debate. The TVK says the package is about improving access to constituencies and providing uniform logistical support to all MLAs. Critics, however, argue that the move adds to the burden on the state exchequer, especially when MLAs already receive several existing benefits. Another concern flagged is whether government-funded vehicles and allowances could be misused for work beyond official constituency duties. Let's go across to Vash News, getting us more details. Now, you know, the Vijay government justified by saying there are a lot of first-timers, first-time MLAs who come from very humble backgrounds and they need this kind of logistical support. It, in fact, was a demand that was raised by one of the MLAs, Jyotimani, if I believe, who said that we can't do good work without logistical support. DMK says you are burdening the exchequer. Go and check the record of these MLAs, how many of them own cars. And then, you know, a very interesting reaction also came in from an MLA who said that they have a lot of cars, but traveling in a government car gives them that flex.
Well, absolutely, yes. This has definitely become blown into a huge controversy right now, with the opposition speaking about how this is an unfair announcement that has come in, splurging money on the MLAs, and the convenience that the MLAs are going to get because of this is exactly what entitlement is about, is what the opposition are speaking about. And in fact, some of the opposition MLAs in the assembly we saw saying that using this money for giving additional facilities to the MLA can be diverted into some other schemes which need a lot more funds, or the farm loan waivers that are still pending that the farmers are protesting for. So therefore there is a lot of opposition coming here. But from the TVK side, what they are trying to say at this point of time is that they say that they have a lot of first-time MLAs who need all of this for motivation and for in fact effective performance in their respective assembly constituencies, is what the TVK is saying at this point. Meanwhile, we are seeing a lot of war of words between the government and the opposition here, and we still haven't gotten any kind of exact a decision about from the government side whether what kind of car, how much money for these car, and what other additional amount that is going to be given. So these are some things that the government is yet to finalize based on the size of the these facilities that are going to be made. There could be an additional expense that could be incurred for the government. So we'll have to wait and see how this is going to pan out in the next few days.
Absolutely. Vashni, keep tracking those developments, and thank you for getting us the details. With that, a quick break, another break in fact on the broadcast, but we have a lot more lined up for our viewers on the other side as well.